an inductor of 30 millihenry is connected to a 220 volt and 100 hertz AC source. The inductive reactance will be. So, inductive reactance is nothing but the resistance offered by your inductor is what they are asking us to find. The inductor offered by the resistance offered by the inductor is given as XL, which is equal to omega L, where omega stands for the angular frequency and L for the value of the inductor. Okay, so now omega could be rewritten as 2 pi mu times L is also given as such. So in the next step I will directly substitute whatever is given to us in the question and I will start calculating it. So now listen, 2 into 3.14 into what is mu in here, which is your frequency, that is given as 100 times what's your L, 30 into 10 power minus 3 it is. So now all you have to do is just multiply everything and you have to get the answer. So to keep it simple, I am not going to complicate the multiplication. Let me show you how to do the multiplication, because I see the values given to me in the options. Okay, they have like 2 units difference, right? First one is 10, next one is 12, then it is 18, 22. So on average it has a difference of 4. So what you have to do is approximate the pi value to 3 and you just start multiplying this and we will see what we get. So this is 6 into 100 into 30 into 10 power minus 3. So 6 into 3 will give you 18. So from this I realize that my answer is going to start as 18. This itself will conclude my answer. Okay, because it's a multiple choice question, I necessarily don't have to do any multiplication further on. But since it's a teaching course, I would like to multiply it further. See, 6 3s are 18, 10 power 3 and 10 power minus 3 goes off. So approximately the inductive reactance value is 18 ohms. Okay, it is 18 ohms. So this is fair enough to conclude the answer. Okay, you don't necessarily have to do the accurate multiplication, because if it was a descriptive examination, doing an accurate multiplication is fine. But since you are going to choose one among the 4 options, it's okay if you just stop with an approximate value, just like I did now. Now we move to the next question. Here it's an LCR circuit where we have a resistance, inductor and a capacitor which are connected to a variable frequency of 220 volt AC supply. Okay, when the frequency of the supply is equal to the natural frequency of the circuit. Remember very well, when the frequency of the supply is equal to the natural frequency of the circuit, what is the average power transferred to the circuit in one complete cycle? It is a resonating frequency. Okay, that is what they are trying to express. It's a resonating circuit where the external frequency is equal to the frequency of the circuit. Okay, this satisfies the resonating condition. What is a resonating condition? Your Z equal to R, that is the resonating condition, where Z stands for the impedance of the entire circuit. Okay, otherwise XL equal to XC it is. XL equal to XC it is. You might wonder, how did I get this? Okay, see, what is your Z? Z is equal to the impedance value, which is nothing but R squared plus XL minus XC the whole squared it is. Okay, now I will square on both the sides, and we already know Z and R are going to be the same. If I take that R squared to the other side, it goes 0, then you will be left only with XL minus XC. If I take even this to the other side, it becomes XL equal to XC. So this is how I get to XL equal to XC. Now what I will do is I will just expand XL and XC on both the sides and substitute the values given to us in the question, and I will finish it off. Okay, what is XL? It is omega L. What is XC? 1 by omega C. Right? Okay, what are we given with? We are provided with 22 ohm of resistance, 1.5 Henry of inductor, and 40 microfarad of capacitor, and the voltage is given. What we are not provided with is the frequency. Okay, we are not provided with the frequency, and they are asking us to find the average power. So what I will do is I will do something. See, average power P is equal to V into I. P is equal to V into I. Okay, so if that is so, it is enough if I just find I, because we already know what our V is. So how do I find my I? I is equal to, how to rewrite my I? I is equal to V by R. Okay, I is equal to V by R. Listen. And what is my R in here? R is nothing but the resistance of the entire circuit. Actually, I should write this as Z, which is the impedance of the entire circuit. Since the external frequency and the frequency of the circuit is equal, Z equal to R, just a moment ago I just said that. So V by R should be my I. Okay, now what is V? V is 220 volt divided by, what is my resistance? It is 22. So which in turn gives me 10 ampere of current. So 10 ampere of the current is going to pass through the entire circuit. Now I will use this value of the current into that equation, and I will calculate the average power transferred to the circuit. So P is equal to, what is V in here? It is 220 volt, and the current I is 10. And the current I is 10. So which in turn gives us 2200 watt of power. It is 2200 watt. P equal to 2200 watt. This is the value of the power that is delivered by the entire circuit. Delivered by the entire circuit. See, easy it is. Initially, by seeing the question, it might look complicated, but if you break down this question one by one, you get to know that it's the simplest of the case. Okay, the statement that you should consider is this: the external frequency is equal to the frequency of the circuit, and you should understand that it is a resonating case. In the resonating case, the external resistance and the resistance in the circuit is equal to the resistance of the entire circuit. That is how we reduce this. Here we have a circular loop of radius 0.3 centimeter lying parallel to much bigger circular loop of radius 20 centimeter. The center of small loop is on the axis of the bigger loop. The distance between their centers is 15 centimeter, and if the current is 2 amperes flowing through the smaller loop, then the flux linked with the bigger loop will be. So the question is like this: we have a smaller loop in here and we have a bigger loop in here. Both are in same axis. Okay, the radius of the smaller loop is 0.3 centimeter and that of the bigger loop is 20 centimeter. Both are 15 centimeters away. Okay, both are 15 centimeters away. So now what you are supposed to find is flux that is linked with the bigger loop. You are supposed to find the flux that is linked with the bigger loop. Why did a flux came into a bigger loop? First, you passed a current of 2 amperes into a smaller loop. so that it produced a varying magnetic field. That magnetic field got linked with the bigger loop. So since the magnetic field linked with the bigger loop changed with that time, the magnetic flux came into the play. So all we have to do here is to introduce a mutual inductance in here. So on introducing a mutual inductance into this, we directly calculate whatever we need. And one more important thing, to calculate the mutual inductance, first we are required to find the flux. Flux is nothing but magnetic field times area. So first all we have to do is we have to find the magnetic field offered by this small loop at this point. Okay, not at the center, at this point. Okay, so there is a unique formula for that. There is a unique formula for that, which is mu naught I1 r square divided by 2 into r square plus d square whole power 3 by 2 it is. R square plus d square whole power 3 by 2 it is. Now we have to substitute all the values with us into this, but I am not going to do it now. I will be doing it at last. So this is the magnetic field offered by a smaller one. Okay, I will just call it mu B1. So what is the flux that is linked with the bigger one? See, flux linked with the bigger one is going to be phi 2 is equal to B1 into A2. It's B1 into A2. Okay, so it will be phi 2 of mu naught I1 into R1 squared. Okay, let me keep it like that, divided by 2 into R1 square plus d square whole power 3 by 2 into pi into R2 squared. So that is how you write it. That is how you write the equation for the flux that got induced in the second one. Okay, now if this is going to be the case, we have to first find the mutual inductance that is linked in this. Okay, what is the mutual inductance that is going to link in this? Listen. So what is the expression for the mutual inductance? So the expression for the mutual inductance is going to be a straightforward one, where M is equal to, it is nothing but M is equal to phi times B it is. So the phi 2 is written as mu naught I1 R1 whole square times pi into R2 square by the 2 into R1 square plus d square whole power 3 by 2. Now all we have to do is we have to find the mutual inductance between the two coils, where the mutual inductance M is equal to phi 2 by I1 it is. M is equal to phi 2 by I1 it is. We already know what is the value of the phi 2. So the value of the phi 2 is taken from here. Since we have I1 here which gets cancelled away, it will be mu naught into R1 square into pi into R2 square divided by 2 into R1 square plus d square whole power 3 by 2. Whole power 3 by 2 it is. Okay, so this is the mutual inductance that we have found between the two coils. Now what we are interested in finding is the flux that is linked with the smaller loop is what we have found, and the flux linked with the bigger loop is what we are supposed to find. So now listen very carefully. What I am going to do is phi 1 is equal to M into I2. Phi 1 is equal to M into I2. So I will use the entire M into this. I will use the entire M into this times I2. So that is the value of the flux that is linked with the smaller loop. So now what I will do is I will substitute each and every value that is given to us in here to finish it off. So phi 1 is equal to, what is mu naught? Mu naught is 4 pi into 10 power minus 7 into R1. R1 is going to be 0.3 centimeters and R2 is going to be 20 centimeters. So 0.3, it is 0.3 the whole square into 10 power minus 4 into 20 into 10 power minus 4. 20 into 10 power minus 4 into 3.14 divided by 2 into what is R1? It is 0.3 the whole squared plus the distance between the two loops are 15 centimeters. So 15 into 10 power minus thing whole power 2 and whole power 3 by 2. So what I will do is, instead of putting 3 by 2 in here, I'll just write 10 power minus 4 whole power 3 by 2 separately outside. Where phi 1 is the flux that we are supposed to calculate and which is linked in the bigger loop. So all that we have to do is the multiplication and division. I'll just leave it to you. The answer that we supposed to get for this is nothing but 9.1 into 10 power minus 11 Weber. 9.1 into 10 power minus 11 Weber is the answer for the flux phi 1. Is the answer for the flux phi 1 it is. So this is the particular question that we have to be very concerned about, because sometimes you might even get some complicated questions like this. I will not say this to be a complicated question, but because the procedure is simple, but the calculation that you do at the very end is the difficult one in here. So please do remember that always stick to the basics. Again and again I keep saying this every question. Frame the formula, take the data, plug it in, and remember that it doesn't violate the concept that you have already studied. The series LCR circuit, the phase angle between the supply voltage and the current is. So you have to find the phase angle between the supplied voltage and the current for an LCR circuit. I hope you people could recall the Phasor diagram that we usually draw during the LCR circuit, which looks something like this. Here on the x-axis we have the current and we have the voltages along the y-axis, which is going to vary from one component to the other. So here the very first thing that we know is the voltage drop on the resistance. Okay, the voltage drop on the resistance will be in phase with the current. Okay, both the wave for the voltage in the resistance and the current is going to overlap each other. So this is going to be VR, and in the y-axis it will be VL minus VC. It is VL minus VC, and the resulting voltage looks like this, and this is the phase angle that we are talking about. Since they have used phi in the question, I will do the same. So phi is the phase angle that is indicated in there. So tan phi is equal to, it is nothing but opposite by adjacent. So what is opposite? It is nothing but VL minus VC by VR. So what is VL? It is nothing but I times XL. So I will pull that I outside, times XL minus XC divided by I into R it is, where I and I goes down, where tan phi is equal to XL minus XC by R. XL minus XC by R it is. Okay, so this is the phase angle that you usually write. It is XL minus XC by R, and this is the correct answer. So again, it is simple, you don't have to do much about this. All you have to do is draw the Phasor diagram, and you have to realize this is the resulting voltage for the entire LCR circuit, and you will try to find the angle between the current and the voltage. So this is how it is. So now we move to the next question. When an AC source of voltage V0 of sin omega t is connected across a circuit, the phase difference is observed to be pi by 4 as shown in the figure. In the circuit consisting of possibly only RC or RL or LC in series, find the possible values of two elements. Okay, see, RC, RL or LC, it could be any, but in the option it is very clear that only the value of R and C is given. So it is very much understood that it is an RC circuit. Okay, you don't have to consider any of these two one. Okay, so what are you supposed to find in here is what is the possible value of R and C. Okay, the clue to deal with this problem is this phase value. This phase difference is what is going to help us deal with the entire problem. Look what I am going to do. Since this is an RC circuit, the Phasor diagram looks like this. Okay, so this being phi and this being I and this being VC and this being VR. So tan phi is nothing but VC by VR. Okay, it is nothing but VC by VR, which is nothing but XC by R it is. Okay, so XC can be written as 1 by omega C, but unfortunately we require both C and R. So I will not go for this equation, this might not answer. Instead, I will go for a different one. I will go for cos phi. Listen, cos phi is equal to adjacent by hypotenuse it is. What is that? Adjacent by hypotenuse it is. So what is adjacent? Adjacent is nothing but VR divided by what is the hypotenuse? Hypotenuse is nothing but root of VC square plus VR squared it is. And now look, the phase angle is given to us. It is pi by 4, which is 45 degree. Cos 45 is 1 by root 2. Now look, it is 1 by root 2 is equal to R divided by root of XC squared plus R squared. XC square plus R squared. So now what I will do is I will try to cross multiply this and I will finish it off, because we have XC in here which is nothing but 1 by omega C. I will be using my omega from there to reduce the entire thing first. So listen, I will square on both the sides to get rid of the root. So 1 by 2 is equal to R square divided by XC is nothing but 1 by omega C plus R squared it is. R squared it is. Okay, so what is omega in here? Omega is nothing but 100. Omega is nothing but 100 and C is what we are supposed to find. So now just look, let me cross multiply the whole thing. So if I just cross multiply this, it becomes 1 by omega C the whole squared plus R squared is equal to 2 into r squared it is. Now I'll take this r squared to the other side. It becomes 1 by omega c the whole squared is equal to r squared. And now I will again take root on both the sides. So it becomes 1 by omega c is equal to r. It is nothing but 1 by omega c is equal to r is what we get. So this is going to show you what the answer is. This is going to show you what the answer is. Now listen, I am still going to substitute that omega in here, where 1 by, what is omega from the equation? It is 100, right? 100 into c is equal to r. Okay, so do one thing. You have 4 options with you. You try to plug one by one. I'll tell you how to do it. Put R is equal to 1 kilo ohms here and see whether you get the respective C value. Okay, if you put 1 kilo ohm in here and see whether you get the respective C value, then you can easily calculate what the C is. Now I am going to try and put 1 kilo ohm here. See what is going to happen. 1 into 10 power plus 3. It is 1 into 10 power plus 3 it is. So your C is nothing but 1 by, I'll cross multiply this, it becomes 10 power 5 is equal to C, 10 power 5, 1 by 10 power 5 is equal to C. I'll take this to the numerator, it becomes 10 power minus 5 equal to C. See, we have 10 microfarad in here. So to get 10 microfarad, I will just multiply and divide by 10. So obviously we arrive at the answer, where C is equal to 10 microfarad it is, because it becomes 10 into 10 power minus 6 from here. It becomes 10 into 10 power minus 6 from here. That will be your C value when I substitute 1 kilo ohm. So it's very sure that this is my answer. Okay, because definitely I will not get this, definitely I will not get this, because I have substituted 1 kilo ohm. So by substituting 1 kilo ohm, I only got C to be 10 microfarad. Okay, so option D is completely ruled out. Okay, because look at here, the unit itself is wrong. It is given as millihenry, which is an unit of the inductor. Okay, so the first option is your answer. So this is a tricky problem. Okay, this is a tricky problem that you have to understand carefully, because every time when you are dealing with phase angle, most of the people actually think to go with tan phi, but sometimes you might also choose to go with cos phi or sin phi accordingly. So this is how it really works. So now we move to the next question. See, in an LCR circuit as shown, find the impedance. He is asking you to find the impedance, and the LCR circuit is well defined in the diagram. So all you have to do is write the equation, plug in the values that is given to you in your question, finish it off. Look what I am going to do, where the impedance Z is equal to root of XL minus XC the whole square plus R squared it is. This is the formula. So now I will slowly reduce it down, where Z is equal to root of, it is omega L minus 1 by omega C the whole square plus R squared. Okay, what is omega, by the way? Omega is not directly given, but the frequency mu value is given to us. Okay, so Z equal to root of 2 pi into mu. So 2 into pi into 50 by pi into what is L in here? L is 1. So we don't have to worry about that. Okay, that comes inside a bracket, minus again the same thing, 1 divided by 2 into pi into 50 by pi, and what is C in here? It is 20 microfarad. 20 into 10 power minus 6 microfarad it is. This is whole squared plus What is R in here? R is 300 ohms. Okay. So now let's see what is going to happen. Pi and pi is going to get cancelled away. This is pi and this is pi and this is going to get cancelled away. And we have 50 into 2 is 100. 50 into 2 is 100. And here the same thing. So it is 100 minus of 1 divided by 100 into 20 is 2000 into 10 power minus 6, which is nothing but 2 into 10 power minus 3 the whole squared. Okay, you see 50 into 2 is 100, 100 into 20 is 2000, 2000 into 10 power minus 6 is 2 into 10 power minus 3 the whole squared plus 300 square. Okay, where now z is equal to 1 by 2 is 0.5. 1 by 2 is 0.5 into 10 power plus 3, which is nothing but 500. 100 minus 500 is minus 400. I don't have to worry about that because it's inside the square now. So 100 minus 500 is minus 400 the whole square. Okay, now listen. So totally I can just write it as 400 square plus 300 squared. It's like this. So what I will be getting is z is equal to root of 16 followed by 4 zeros. 16 followed by 4 zeros plus 3 followed by 4 zeros. 1,60,000 and 30,000. Right? So now adding both, I'll simply get the answer. I'll directly get the answer. What will I get? I'll be getting, sorry, here it is 9 followed by 4 zeros. Small correction. It's 9 followed by 4 zeros. So 16 plus 9 is 25. So we will get 2,50,000. So 2,50,000 inside a root is nothing but 500 ohms it is. 500 ohms it is. So this is how you do the problem. Same thing. You don't have to improvise anything. We know already what is the formula for the impedance. All you have to do is just plug in everything and you have to carefully calculate. You see, there are many pi's that are going to come inside the bracket, inside the square. Okay, so you have to carefully reduce each and every term inside the root and inside the square, and after that if you put entire thing under the root, and finally you will get the answer. So 500 ohms is what you get, and that will be our answer. So now we move to the next question. Here an inductor of 30 millihenry is connected to 220 volt and 100 hertz of AC source, then the inductive reactance is. Okay, so now you have to find the inductive reactance. So they are directly asking us to find XL, which is nothing but omega L, which is equal to, what is omega by the way? Omega is 2 into pi into mu into L, and mu is given as 100 hertz and L is directly given. Okay, so 2 into pi into 100 times 30 into 10 power minus 3. 30 into 10 power minus 3, which is equal to, I am going to approximately solve this because we have pi. I will approximate my value of pi to 3. So 3 into 2, 6. 6 into 3 will be 18. So 180 into 100 into 10 power minus 3. So which approximately leads me to 18. Okay, this is not an exact value. I just calculated the value approximately, but I get to know that my answer is going to start with 18. Okay, so which brings me to my answer, which is my option C. It is 18.85 ohms is what it is. You see, I haven't calculated it accurately, but approximate calculation is enough to conclude the answer. Okay, now we move to the next question. It's a sine wave. A phase relationship between the current and voltage in a pure resistive circuit is best represented by. Okay, now here is a sine wave. Okay, the sine wave represents the voltage and the current in a circuit that is carrying only the resistance. Okay, the circuit is going to carry only the resistance, and the respective voltage and the currents in that circuit is given in form of a sine wave. And we already know from the theory classes that the alternating current that is passed over the resistance will produce a current which is in phase with the voltage, which means both the voltage and the current in the resistance is going to be in phase. So the sine wave that is given to you in the option should not have any phase difference. It should not have any shift. So option C is your answer. Look, that is the only option where both your voltage and the current is in phase. So that is how the things really work in here. Okay, so now we move to the next question. Here a 0.2 kilo ohm resistor and 15 microfarad capacitors are connected in series to a 220 volt and 50 hertz AC source. The impedance of the circuit is what you are supposed to find. So this is again what? This is a RC circuit, the circuit which has only a resistance and a capacitor. For that you are supposed to find the impedance. So the impedance is nothing but root of XC plus R the whole squared. XC squared plus R squared equal to root of, what is XC? It is nothing but 1 by omega C the whole squared plus R squared it is. Okay, we already know what is mu, and I will plug that mu in the place of omega, and then we can also plug the value of R in here. Listen, Z is equal to root of 1 divided by 2 into pi into 50, okay, times what is the value of the capacitance that is given? It is 15 microfarad. 15 into 10 power minus 6. Okay, so everything is in here, and then the whole squared, everything under whole squared, plus the value of resistance again is 0.2 the whole squared. So all you have to just do is bring the entire root, calculate the entire terms under the root. Okay, there is no other way other than painfully doing the calculation with your hand, because we don't have any shortcuts for doing this. So when you slowly reduce all the terms inside the square and then all the terms under the root, the answer that you are going to end with is going to be 291.5 ohms. I want you to calculate on your own. It is going to be 291.5 ohms it is. This is the total impedance value offered by a circuit which is going to carry both resistor and a capacitor, and which looks something like this. So this is how you do the problem. Direct substitution, write the formula first and then reduce it accordingly, and take all the data from your question and put them in their respective places. So now we move to the next question, which looks like, in an LCR circuit having L 30 microhenry, R is equal to 8 ohms and the resonating frequency is 50 hertz. Then the quality factor of the circuit is. So you have to find the quality factor, which is nothing but the Q factor, which is equal to 1 by R. 1 by R of root L by C it is. 1 by R of root L by C it is. So take all the values from here, plug it in and get it. If you just have a close look at this, there is a clue, there is a very important clue in this question to actually get the value of your C, because here we don't have the value of the C. So you have to accordingly choose a formula and first find your C and then plug it in. Okay, here it has been said that it is going to have a resonating frequency, right? If the frequency is going to be resonating, then I very well know that XL equal to XC it is. So omega L equal to 1 by omega C. So omega squared is equal to 1 by LC. Omega squared is equal to 1 by LC, and C is equal to 1 by L into omega squared. 1 by L into omega squared, where C is equal to 1 by, what is L in here? L is 30 into 10 power minus 3 into, what is omega? Omega is not given, instead 50 hertz is given. So 2 into pi into 50 the whole squared. 2 into pi into 50 the whole squared. So this is the value of your C. Instead of calculating the whole thing in here, I will take it and I will directly plug this into the Q. L is already 30, right? Okay, so Q is equal to 1 by, what is the value of R? R is nothing but 8 ohms. 8 ohms root of, if I just put it in and if I take it to the top, it becomes 30 into 10 power minus 3, already we have it in here, and this joins along with this, which becomes 30 squared into 10 power minus 3 the whole squared into 100 pi the whole squared. 100 pi the whole squared divided by 1. So now all you have to do again is to pull everything out of the root, because I have carefully written everything with a squared. So listen, 30 into 10 power minus 3 into 100 pi divided by h. So now again what you have to do is, you have to just calculate everything painfully with your hand, and I think the overall calculation is going to be pretty much easy in here, and if you calculate everything, you will arrive at the answer, which is 1.18, which is 1.18, and that is the value of the Q factor for this particular LCR circuit. So this is how you solve this particular problem. So with this note, I'll come to the end of this session. We will again meet some other time in some other situation. Thank you.